As a quick reminder, I want to encourage you guys, sign up at restrictedrepublic.com. It is there that I am sharing uncensored, unfiltered content that you cannot get here on YouTube. And I do joint videos there with Justice Knight. Right now, in fact, you can get it free for 30 days. Yes, you heard that right, free. There is no contract, so if you choose to continue, great. We want to keep you on, and if not, that's your choice. But use the code Christmas to get it free for 30 days. Check it out at restrictedrepublic.com. All right, on to the report. Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I wanted to get this to you as soon as possible. But Horowitz has released his IG report and basically, in a nutshell, has found that there is clear abuse of the FISA process. Now, this is not as strong as I would have liked it to be. He basically also says that there is no political bias of the president, which is just basically what I'm going to bleep that out, but basically that's what it is. It's BS in his findings as far as no political bias. And this is why Durham even came out with his own attack on the Inspector General's report. And I'm going to read to you his statement. So let's just go straight there and dive into this bad boy. All right, so here we are on the Department of Justice. Now, this is John Durham's statement about the IG report, and it is very important. I have the utmost respect for the mission of the Office of Inspector General and the comprehensive work that went into the report prepared by Horowitz and his staff. However, big however there, our investigation is not limited to developing information from within components of the Justice Department. Our investigation has included developing information from other persons and entities, both in the United States and outside of the U.S., based on the evidence collected to date. And while our investigation is ongoing, last month, we advised the Inspector General that we do not agree with some of the report's conclusions as to predication and how the FBI case was opened. So this is Durham. Durham doesn't come to the forefront and say much a lot of the times. He kind of stays under the radar, but here he is saying we don't agree with some of the findings and we still have ongoing work that we're doing both inside the U.S. and outside of the U.S. Not to discount fully what Horowitz has done, because some of the stuff is good, but I'm not liking the fact that he's saying there's no bias, because that again is just an outrage. Now here's a report on Fox News that gives a little bit more expanded on what Durham's talking about. U.S. Attorney Durham objects to IG findings on Russia probe, origins in stunning statement. Now this is why Horowitz released his report Monday saying his investigations found no intentional misconduct or political bias. I disagree with that strongly. Surrounding efforts to launch that 2016 probe and to seek a highly controversial Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, the FISA warrant, to monitor former Trump campaign advisor Carter Page in the early months of the investigation. Still, it found that there were significant concerns, it says, with how certain aspects of the investigation were conducted and supervised. So no political bias, but yet there is concern or significant concern of how certain aspects of the investigation were handled. But let's go down a little bit further to find out what William Barr said. He basically ripped the FBI's intrusive investigation after the release of Horowitz report. And he says the IG report now makes it clear the FBI launched an intrusive investigation of the United States presidential campaign on the thinnest suspicion that, in my view, were insufficient to justify the steps that were taken. And that's the thing. They went and went after this whole Russia crap and now Ukraine crap based off a thinly veiled suspicion. It's also clear, he goes on, from its inception, the evidence produced by the investigation was consistently exemplary. Nevertheless, the investigation and surveillance was pushed forward for the duration of the campaign and deep into the President Trump's administration. He goes on to say that the FISA report showed clear abuse of that surveillance progress. And then let's hone in on this. In a rush to obtain and maintain FISA surveillance, they rushed it of Trump campaign associates. FBI officials misled the FISA court, omitted critical facts from their filings, and suppressed and ignored information, negating the reliability of the principle of the source. The IG report, he added, found the explanations given for the actions unsatisfactory. While most of the misconduct identified by the IG was committed in 2017 and 18 by a small group, of now former FBI officials. Okay, so that's where we're at. So basically, it reveals that there was a lot of abuse. They went through, they had a little bit of information, nothing significant, to go and start looking into Trump the way that they did. I mean, we're talking massive interviews, warrants, and all kinds of things were issued against the president. And this was found in Horowitz reports. Now, like I said, I like some of Horowitz reports, and some of it I'm pissed off about because it wasn't strong enough. That's why, again, I want to encourage you, be ready to hear Durham's report. I think that is going to be the most critical one, not Horowitz. Durham's is who we need to pay attention to. But here's a report on Zero Hedge I want to call attention to. DOJ Inspector General releases report on FBI conduct and finds, again, clear abuse of FISA process. I'll leave that for you. But here is the actual Inspector General report. And I want to hone in on some of the executive summary. And here it is, the background. The DOJ Office of Inspector General undertook this review to examine actions by the FBI and the department during the investigation. Basically, they're going to look into Crossfire Hurricane and whether associates with the Donald Trump for President campaign were coordinating wittingly or unwittingly with the Russia government. Basically, we're going to find out all the details. But here's some of the highlights. The decision to open Crossfire Hurricane and 4 individual cases on current and former members, and it lists them: Manafort, Flynn, Carter Page, Papadopoulos, FBI's relationship with Christopher Steele. How about Hillary's and the DNC's relationship with Christopher Steele? And not to mention Fusion GPS and CrowdStrike and how they funded Christopher Steele, right? All of that. FBI applications filed with FISC. We have the interactions of the Department of Bruce Orr, Steele, Glenn Simpson, Fusion GPS, all of that. And the FBI's use of undercover employees, basically going beyond procedures in order to find information on President Trump. They committed many crimes doing what they did. Now, what was found in the report, I want to forward to one little section. This is on page 14, where they identified at least 17 significant errors or omissions in the Carter Page FISA applications. That's just one section. Keep in mind, this was 400 some odd pages. So let me just show you some of the news articles that came out on that. The first one here is on the Gateway Pundit. IG report, FBI officials higher up than Peter Strzok were involved in opening Crossfire Hurricane to spy on President Trump. That was the Crossfire Hurricane was the nickname given to all of these FBI and CIA and officials that were investigating the president. But here what it says, the report revealed what we knew to be true all along. The FBI defrauded the FISA court and purposely admitted information from the FISA judges in order to obtain 4 FISA warrants on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. 4. According to Horowitz, FBI counterintelligence, Peter Strzok wasn't the sole or even highest level decision maker in opening the investigation into Crossfire Hurricane. So who was it, right? In 2016, Strzok opened a counterintelligence investigation into Trump called Crossfire Hurricane based on suspicions, not on facts. The FBI never gave Trump camp a proper briefing warning him about the infiltration, not once. This is according to the report. This is also on the Gateway Pundit. The DOJ IG report, FBI was spying again on 4 Trump officials, not 2. This is huge. Another on the Gateway Pundit, DOJ IG determined that Steele's bogus dossier, which they claimed it didn't, but they claim now that it played a central role in ordering the surveillance of Carter Page. You see, Comey came out and said, hey, this isn't what we're going after Carter Page for. It was because of other information. It had nothing to do with the fake Steele dossier. However, turns out that is exactly what happened. And then we also have inside information that John Solomon said that the IG report actually lays out in incontrovertible evidence that Obama FBI misled FISA court. That's important as well. And finally here, one more that I want to show you on the Gateway Pundit. FBI offered to pay Christopher Steele significantly, right, to dig up dirt on General Michael Flynn. FBI ran an opt against Flynn. Why? Because it was all about trying to get dirt on Trump any way they possibly could. So there you have it. I've just kind of skimmed the surface of this IG report. I'm going to be diving more into it as I go, but I wanted to bring you guys the latest and greatest on this IG report because I think it's critical what's going on here. And I think the main points are Horowitz found no political bias, which I said from the beginning is just crap and lies. The second thing is they did find abuses, obvious abuses, and so many other things. They were looking at to 4 people, not just 2, not just Carter Page, but 4 people on the President Trump's administration, not to mention all the corruption and basically framing of people like Michael Flynn trying to get dirt on him and paying someone to find any dirt that they can. That's corruption of the highest level. And this is what the Democratic Party does and what they are doing right now. This is why it's important. And again, I think the most important part of this is we need to pay attention to Durham's report. Michael Horowitz's report did not have the amount of information that we were looking for. Keep your eyes peeled for Durham's. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.